Hey everybody, it's your host Rannalt back with another Star Wars Minecraft tutorial. In honor of Star Wars The Force Awakens, I am doing the Millennium Falcon. Also, I'd like to say thanks to all my fans. I can't believe I'm almost at 2,000 subscribers already. And Merry Christmas. So let's go ahead and get this tutorial started. Alright, so let's run through our inventory here. We're gonna need light gray wool, stone slabs, our primaries, and then we got some clay we're gonna be using, some brown wool, and some gray wool. And you can see I've got my inventory kind of broken up into sections here on like what I'll be using the most. And then we've got some stuff up here. We're gonna be using the stone pressure plates, buttons, rail tracks, glass. We're going to be using some glowstone, some diamond block, and some iron blocks. We're going to be using some of these bars here, some the potion stands, stairs, some sandstone, some furnaces. We may do the inside, but probably not. I typically let you guys do the inside on that. So we're going to start with this half circle here. And it's going to be 10 across, and then 3, 2, 2, 1, and then 2. And you'll see what I mean here. We'll go ahead and I'll let you take a look here so you can count if you need to. And let's go ahead and get started. And I'll show you real quick how I do it. So we got 1, 2, 3, drop down. 1, 2. We're going to do the same thing again. 1, 2, drop down 1, and then we're going to drop down and do another 2. And then we're going to cut over 1, 2, and then we're gonna pivot, and this is where we're gonna turn. And then, so we do 2, and then we're gonna do 1, and then 2 set of 2 again, because we're just repeating the pattern. And you'll keep going all the way around, and you're gonna do 2 of these rings. So you're gonna do this ring, and then what you're gonna do is inset 1, you're going to trace it all the way around with the gray wool 4 high. And then you're going to make the other ring on top. So 4 high, and then you're going to trace the inside all the way around. And then make this same ring on top. So bam, you can see we've got it right here, 4 high all the way around. And we've got this other ring on top. And then what we're going to do is we're gonna come in 11 blocks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. wool, and we run the layer behind the double stack again, and we're gonna make another circle. So we're gonna step it out, 1, 2, then 2 again, and then caddy corner 1, and then 2 again, and then 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So then 2, 2, and then we're gonna keep doing that all the way around. And then what we're gonna do is, what's cool with this last one is we're just gonna come and bring them together and then knock out the corner block. So there's no counting or math or anything, so we'll finish up this last one. You'll connect the centers and then fill in the outside edges, leaving this nice little square in the center. So now we've got it all filled in, we can go ahead and start working on the turret. So the Millennium Falcon's got these double turrets. So we're gonna be using some stone slabs, the stone brick stairs, clay, brown wool, gray wool, smooth sandstone, glass, and dispensers. And we'll also be using some buttons and some pressure plates. So starting with the stone slabs here, we're gonna make another row. This time it's 4 by 6. And then you're gonna fill in the center, and you're gonna do this on both sides. So this is the left and the right that we've been making these little ramps on. So we're gonna make a circle with the ends of 4, and then you're gonna come down 2, end of 4, step 1, step another 1, come across 4, and then that's the ring for our turret. And you're gonna do this on the top and the bottom. So then whichever way is the front, you're gonna do one little row of brown, and then you're gonna switch to the smooth sandstone, and you're gonna run 4 rows of the smooth sandstone. So there's 2, 3, and 4. And my Xbox is getting a little glitchy. And then you're gonna switch to the clay, and then the last 3 rows you're gonna do in clay. Now you're gonna switch to the glass, and directly behind the brown, you're gonna knock out those 4. Then you're gonna step down 2, and then you're gonna come back. So you're making like this cross shape that's 4 by 2, and then you're gonna fill that in with glass. And that's the majority of our turret. So let's get working on our gun. Right here in the center, you're gonna make a 2 by 2 block of the gray wool, and then you're gonna step it up, and you're gonna make another 2 by 2 platform. Then you're gonna put 2 blocks of light gray wool, 2 more blocks of the gray, and then you're gonna do 2 dispensers. On the back side here, you're gonna go ahead and put stairs in, and then behind the stairs, up on top, you're gonna put half slabs. And then this is where we're gonna use the buttons and the pressure plates. So let me go ahead and grab some here from my inventory. And what I'm doing here with the pressure plates is on top of the light gray wool, just to make it a little bit darker. I'm gonna put the pressure plates, and then the buttons here on the corner, and then up top on the other grays. And you're gonna mirror it and do the exact same thing on the bottom of the Millennium Falcon. So now that we've got both of those done, let's get started on the back here. We're gonna be using some rails, some brown wool, pressure plates, stone slabs. So let's go ahead and start with the stone slabs. And from the very back, 1 block in, you're gonna just go ahead and trace it. that's actually, nope, I did that too far. So you're just gonna trace it, and then you're gonna do 3, 2, and then 3. So 3, 2, and then this one will be 3. So 3, 2, 1, 2, 3. And you're gonna do this on both sides, left and right, and the top and the bottom. So 3, 2, 3, and then you're gonna step it up 1, and then you're gonna cut in diagonally. And you're gonna do this on both sides. Then we're gonna go up to the next layer, and you're gonna trace it across the middle, and then the 1, 2, 3, and then the second row right here of 2, you're only gonna do 1. And then you're gonna do the same thing where you come in catty corner towards the center of the Millennium Falcon. And you're doing this on the top and the bottom. So you just bring that all the way into the corner. And we're gonna end up filling this whole thing in. The center of both of these, we're gonna fill in with half slabs. Now that we've got that filled in, what we're gonna do is we're gonna punch out some holes here for our tracks. So here in the center, you're gonna count 2 back from the edge, and you're gonna knock out a little 2x2 block. Then you're gonna come over 3, both to the left and the right, and knock out 2 more little 2x2 blocks. So you got a gap of 3 in between it. And then with the rails, what we're gonna do is make these little cross shapes, because on the top of the Millennium Falcon on the back, he's got like these exhaust ports. So we've got the top ones. Now we're gonna step down to the bottom row here. So directly in line with this, with a gap of 1 between the 2 rows, another 2x2 block. And then the left and right ones, what you're gonna do is you're gonna step them both up 1 block. So it's still a gap of 3, but they're not perfectly in line. This way they're gonna make a curved shape along the same shape of the back of the Millennium Falcon. And you're gonna mirror the same thing on the bottom, except you're not gonna put in the exhaust ports. So then right here along these edges, what you're gonna do is knock out a gap, and you're gonna inset brown wool. So along this edge, just right here, it's 1, 2, 3. You're gonna knock those out, and then where that light gray wool is, knock that out, and then inset the brown gray wool. The brown wool. And you're gonna do that on the bottom as well. So we're gonna do the Falcon's main thrusters now. And you can see in line with this corner, so the inside edge of the 3rd step, so 1, 2, 3, inside edge of 3rd step, you're gonna put the furnaces. And then this whole center thing, what we're gonna do is we're gonna replace that with glowstone and the diamond block. So the top row is gonna be glowstone, bottom row is gonna be glowstone, and then the 2 center, you're gonna do the diamond block. And then what we're gonna do to hide this glowstone a bit is with the half slabs along the edge closest to the diamond block, we're gonna trace the glowstone. So it'll shine through, it'll still illuminate the blue. You'll get a little bit of a flare look, but it doesn't look like just cheesy glowstone just hanging out back there. And there you go. And our Falcon is coming along. I mean, if you've hung in this far, I mean, kudos. It's only been 17 minutes. So now what we're gonna do is we're just gonna trace this edge with some 4 pressure plates. And then you're gonna trace this edge as well. We're gonna trace this outside ring of the turret. Just giving it some more depth, creating some shadows, some nooks and crannies, because it is the Millennium Falcon. It is supposed to be put together looking like a pile of junk. I mean, everyone said it in every movie that it's been in, that it's a hunk of junk. Even in The Force Awakens, in the very beginning, like, she's like making fun of it. She's like, no, that piece of junk. So on the back half here, you're gonna place sparingly some more pressure plates, kind of like panels. You'll see I'm kind of counting, leaving gaps, kind of just making small little shapes of 2 or 3 panels, sometimes just one off by itself. I would say total each one of these layer sections, no more than 7 pressure plates. And then on the center ones, no more than like 4, maybe 5. And then the very center, we've got some things in store for that. Alright, so now that we've got some of that done, let's start marking out the escape pods and the launch ramp, or the boarding ramp. So on the sides, even with this edge, you're going to go ahead and run a line straight down of the light gray wool. And then now we've got the back of the ship sectioned off. So now we can come in and do some detail with these stone slabs. And a lot like the pressure plates, there's just some simple rules. You never stack 2 on top of each other, and this includes the top and the bottom edge. You never stack 2 out, and you never make a line longer than 3. So if you follow those simple rules, you can come through and design it however you want. And then just come through and place in some buttons, but don't put in too many, because you can place 3 furnaces wherever you want on each side of the back half here. So I come in and I just kind of place them randomly, kind of filling in some gaps where I think like the ship looks a little too light, like it needs a little bit more weight here or there. Okay, so now we've got the back half detail done. Like, that is it. Now we're gonna work on the sides and the escape pods. So we're gonna have to knock out some blocks first. Using the light gray wool, go ahead and run down that side, and then here in between the half slabs on the top and the bottom, we're gonna go ahead and knock that out. And you can see we're starting to get this shape like the side of the Millennium Falcon. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna switch over to the clay, because it's a lighter bluish gray, and here in the center we're gonna run 4 blocks, and then we're gonna step it down 1, and then along the side we're gonna do 2 blocks, and then step it down 1 again, and then run our 4 blocks, step it up, 2 blocks, and then step it up. And then here in the corners we're gonna fill it in with half slabs, because it's gonna step out again, and we're using these slabs here to fill in the gaps. It makes it look kind of cool. So 4 on the side, 2 in each corner. Alright, now we have this little cross shape, so we're gonna use the clay again. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna stack it out, so it kind of, it's like it's sticking out of the Falcon a little bit. And then using brown wool, we're gonna lay it inside here, like it's kind of painted, and then we're gonna put a button on each one of these. So if you're on the left-hand side of the Falcon, that's it. You're done with the escape pods, and that's the way it's gonna look. But if you're on the right-hand side, you're gonna have to knock out these blocks here, because this is your loading ramp. So you're gonna knock out this little center strip right here. You're gonna leave the outside layer of clay and then the very outside edge of the light gray wool, but then you're gonna knock out all the rest of the light gray wool inside of here. And I'm sure this is gonna be a little difficult to see. I can place some glowstone for you so you can see. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna run black wool now along the outside edge of each side of this, the left and the right side. So 1, 2, 3, 4 blocks on each side, and this is kind of like the rubber gasket seal. Let me put some glowstone here so you can see what's going on. There you go. So you can see I ran that 4 black. And then, so it's kind of like this gasket seal. I'm going to run 4 on the other side. And then I'm going to fill in this center here. With this gray wool, or sorry, this clay. And then it's going to be 2 blocks of those. And then you can do a couple different things. So you can do stairs along this edge right here, or you can do like you're going to see me do in a second that I prefer. You can do furnaces because I like the metal edge. So I'll show you stairs first. So what you can do is you run a set of stairs like this. I just really don't like the brick very much. I like to try to avoid it on the Star Wars vehicles. And you leave that little gap right there so you can enter the ship, like if it's flying. Where I like to use furnaces and then just run it along the edge here. So you get that cool metal edge. And that's where you would go inside and put the pistons and stuff. So we are going to go ahead and start the front arms now. So with clay, on the 3rd step back, what you're going to do is you're going to run rows of 3, and then you're going to step back and run another row of 3, and you're going to do that 11 times until you get all the way to the front end. So you can see 1, 2, 3, 4. 5. So you're going to do 11 sets of 3, stepping in like this. So 11 sets of 3 stairs, if that makes sense. And then once you get to the end, you're going to step it in, and you're going to run a row of 2 wide, 5 long. And then from the inside edge of that, you're just going to run this all the way back to the Falcon. And that should come out to 22 blocks long. You can count if you want right there. So you're going to do this on the top and bottom for both the left and the right. So now that you've got that shape, you can see I already started marking out the inside and doing the front detail. So like we did before, insetting the gray, we're going to do the front detail first here. So you're going to step it down and run it all the way across. And then you're just going to go to the very front and make a little row of 3. And then you're going to chip away the little blocks that are like hidden behind it. So step it up, run it all the way across 5, and then 2, and then we're going to knock out these little blocks right here, because we're going to place some half slabs there. So then what we're going to do is along that edge where that little gap is, we're going to run some gray wool, and then we're going to go ahead and place our stone slabs there on the top and the bottom. So we get this nice gentle ramp, but we get this cool like little inset shape and texture. So now we're going to go ahead and go back to the gray wool, and we're going to trace it and fill it all the way in. So now that we've got this filled in here, you can go around if you want and do the stone texture on the sides. We're going to get to that here shortly. And same rules apply when it comes to placing them. So we're going to count back 16 blocks. And on the 16th block, we're going to step it in towards the center with a half slab, and we're going to run a row all the way across. Directly behind that, on the 17th row, we're going to switch to light gray wool, and we're going to run it, and it's going to overlap the clay. And then what we're going to do is we're going to make this box that's kind of inset into this clay. So along the same line, the light gray wool. And then across the bottom here, we're going to run a placeholder of light gray wool, just so we know where we're going to do the bottom of like this hanger door kind of thing that the Falcon has on the front of it. So now we're going to go ahead and box out this shape, and we're going to run it back so that it's 10 blocks long. So it'll be 12 blocks wide and 10 blocks long. So on the bottom, you're going to make just that exact shape, just a rectangle that's hanging down that's 12 by 10, and then you're just going to fill it in. And we're back. Alright, so you're going to knock out the inside of that so that there's just 3 on the end, and you're going to run it all the way back. You're going to step it in 1 block and run a row across. And then you're going to knock out the center and run another row of the gray, the light gray wool. We're going to switch to furnaces, and here in the center where we knocked out this little row, we're going to run 2 rows of furnaces right here in the center. Switching to slabs, we are going to kind of trace and make these like little rectangles on top. So you're going to come all the way down to the edge, trace the furnaces, and you're going to bring the stone slabs all the way out to 1 block before the edge of the light gray wool. So now that we've got that done, we're back at the slabs, and we're gonna go and start putting the skin on here. So you step back 1, 2, and then you start stepping it out until you run in line with the 1 block behind this little edge right here. So, and then you leave a gap, you run it 4 blocks, and then you trace the outside edge of the Falcon. And then what you'll do is you'll fill in that space that you just made. So if you've noticed, making the Falcon, it's all about making these real, for the most part, simple shapes, and then filling in a layer. Make a shape, fill in a layer. Make a shape, fill in a layer. And because it's so symmetrical, for the most part, it's pretty easy. So we did both sides, top and bottom the same. And then we're going to come back here where these half slabs are, and we're going to knock out this row on the outside edge, and then we're going to bring it in 1 block, and then knock it all the way back down. So bring it in a block with a gap of 2 up top, and then we're going to fill this back in with the light gray wool, just to add a little bit more shape up top. And our Falcon's coming along pretty nicely. Alright, so what we're going to do here is make the stone slabs kind of like on the sides where the ejection ports are. So you're going to trace it, and then every time you hit a layer, you're just going to double it up. So trace it along, even with that, double it up, trace it along, and then we're going to hit the turret. Trace it all the way along here, we're going to hit the turret. And then we're going to fill in this gap, except up by the turret, we're going to leave this little gap where we're going to put brown wool. So let's go ahead and make this gap here. It's going to be like this little T shape. So you're going to leave a space of 2, then step down, and then just you'll start filling it in. Go ahead and knock this out and inlay the brown wool. And you're going to do this on the top and the bottom of the Millennium Falcon, so it'll look exactly the same underneath. And then we'll go ahead and fill in this whole gap right here with the half slabs. So if it's double stacked, you'll fill it double. If it's single layer, you'll just fill it single layer. So now that we got that all filled in, we're going to go ahead and start marking out towards our cockpit. And in line with the second block of the circle of the turret, we're going to draw a line just catty corner all the way to the edge of the Falcon. And a simple rule is you'll just always make it so that this row is 1 block taller than the Falcon. So you can see I made this line, and it's always 1 block taller than the skin of the Falcon. And if there's a layer of the Falcon where it's going to be like wonky, just make it the same height as the tallest layer. So then same thing in line with the second block here. We start catty corner, 1 like that, and then just start coming along, always 1 block taller than the Falcon. Wherever you hit an edge, you do a double stack. And then we're going to keep the double stack coming until we hit this, so that you can clearly see the tunnel for the cockpit. And you're going to do that same thing on the top and the bottom, just so we can start marking off where the cockpit is going to be. What you're going to do is you're going to count back to the back of the 7th step, and you're going to step over 1 and down 1, and you're going to run a row of 3 of this clay. Then you're going to step over, do 2, do a row of 5, step up 2, do a row of 2, step over 2, and then another row of 5. I know it's kind of a wonky circle, but it's just the way the cockpit is shaped, and you'll see it'll fill itself out. So we're going to row 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then bring it across here, and go ahead and fill that in. And this is towards the front of the Millennium Falcon. So this is the floor of the cockpit, basically. So do 4 rows of 3. And then these rows all the way around on the bottom half of the cockpit here, you're just going to pull all the way out to the edge before you step into the 4 rows of 3. So all the way out. Boom, boom, boom. And you're going to pull it all the way out, and then this is going to be the center of the cockpit, kind of where everyone will be sitting, and the windshield will be coming from this edge where we're stopping, is the edge where the windshield will be starting. Because once we get the position of the cockpit, it's really easy to see the angle at which it needs to curve to attach to the main body of the ship. I hope you guys have been hanging in there so far. So let me show you what I mean. So that's going to overhang 1. So you're going to step it in 1 and overhang 1. And then you're going to drop down 1, 2, 3, 4. Then you're going to step over, bring this guy out 1, 2, 3, 4. Step over and down, bring this guy out 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then, like I said, we're going to trace it around. Make sure you put that new center block there. So you got your 5 across. Bring that out. Go up, bring that next one out 4, and bring the next one out 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And then bring this guy out 4. And then that's the bottom half of our cockpit. We need to do the nose. It's kind of like this dark gray. And then the windshield. And we're almost done with the Millennium Falcon, guys. Thanks for sticking in. I know it's been a while. I know it's been a long time since I've done a tutorial. So we're going to trace this edge right here with the gray wool. With 1 row. And then we're going to step it in. So we've got this like little dark kind of undernose, and the very front of the cockpit of the Millennium Falcon is flat. So we're going to come through here and we're going to trace this all out with glass. And we're tracing it first because we don't want to fill this whole space with glass. Wherever there will be half slabs and stuff, we'll try to not have glass there. We'll go ahead and run the glass all the way across and just fill this space in so that we can see where it's all going to go. And then we can go in later underneath and knock out glass if we have to. And then the Millennium Falcon kind of has this like rib bands that go around the windshield, so and then it's got like these support bars that go across. So we'll do the first like rib all the way across here. And then we'll do a second one down here. And then there's a really small one in the front that we'll do in a second, but we need to connect these ribs. So here's the small one in the front. And then starting from the front, we're gonna make a V shape towards those top 2 points. So like I said, whenever we can knock out the glass and replace it with a half slab, we are. And there is our Falcon cockpit. Ready to rock and roll. And there will be more detail added as we finish this connecting arm shape right here. So go ahead, and we've already started this diagonal line, so you just keep bringing it all the way in until you reach the hull of the cockpit. And we're gonna do it on the back side also, just for a reference, so we can kind of see where our starting line is. We'll end up knocking most of this out when we make the shape of the arm, because it'll make like this cool stepping back shape. All right, so in line here with the the top and bottom that we just made. We're gonna go ahead and knock out a little hole just to enter. So now with the clay, what you're gonna do is you're gonna trace this outside edge of the cockpit, and you're just gonna step it back 1 block all the way in. And as you come up, you'll reach some of these half slabs that we put in here, and you're just gonna knock those out of the way. So as you come up to the half slabs, when they get in your way, or if they're overhanging these at all, make sure you knock those half slabs out of the way. So I'm gonna go ahead and just get them all out of the way now. I'm still leaving a little bit there on the end just so I can see where it's gonna connect. And this line will come all the way across to that slab. So what we're gonna do is just keep tracing it all the way up, and it's gonna stay flush on the top and bottom. So basically we're just taking this shape and just stepping it back each time. Once we get to this back edge of the wall here, you're gonna go ahead and fill that in. And you can see now it makes like this honeycomb kind of shape, and it's smooth on top. So we're gonna switch to these stone slabs here, and we're gonna finish rounding out the top of this. Let me get that out of the way. I'm gonna come in here and fill in the gaps where it's supposed to be slabs and stuff later. So starting here in the center, I'm gonna draw a line kind of on the back edge of the center all the way down. And then on the back edge, go ahead and do 1 more row, stepping it down. Until we get to the center of the cockpit. And you're gonna do 5 rows of 3. So make sure you do both sides of this row here, because it's an odd number, so you need both sides. And you're gonna do that on the top and the bottom of the cockpit. Now we need to do the, like, it's got these like access vent things on the front up here, along with some button detail. So on the front, like forks, you're gonna run buttons kind of sporadically. You know, it is the Falcon, it is beat up. Don't just run a straight line. Do some here on the front as well. Then you're gonna come to the back here, and you're gonna go ahead and run buttons along here, and this you will run buttons all the way across. So it's wherever there's diamond and glowstone, run a row of buttons. Yeah, don't skip out on the engines. So we still have to do the radar dish and those access ports that I was talking about. So we're gonna fill in this spot right here, this gap that we still have, with pressure plates. And then we can do some pressure plate detail on the front at the same time if we want. So you're just gonna fill in this whole gap wherever it's light gray wool. So if it's a stone slab, just leave the stone slab. So even with that half slab in the center hanger, you're gonna knock out a little 2x2 block, and you're gonna fill it in an inset here with light gray wool, and you're gonna do it on both sides. It's gonna mirror itself. So step over 2 blocks in line with that, make a little 2x2. You're gonna make an inset of light gray wool, and we're gonna make another inset. So with a gap of 2, and you're gonna go 2 steps back, you're gonna make another 2x2 block with an inset of light gray wool. And then we're gonna do the same thing with the railroad tracks, or with the minecart tracks, where we make little crosses. And I'll show you one more time right here. So we'll get our rails and make our little crossy shape, loop-de-loops. Sweet, looking pretty solid indeed. So, like I said before, I'm just gonna go back with some pressure plates and do some little detail work here. Same thing, make little shapes of two, kind of just sporadically, but not really on the front end very much where the exhaust port things are. So, in the center of this middle row here, you're gonna place a block, and you're gonna stack up 3 brewing stands, and then knock away these back blocks. With the iron, you're gonna make like this little like starburst daisy shape, like across. Then you're gonna switch to the gray wool, and you're gonna step it out a block, and you're gonna make like another cross shape, just a little bit bigger. And I think you can kind of see a pattern evolving here. So before I forget, we're gonna take some, get out of here. We're gonna take some levers, and you're gonna point them in towards the stands on each side, and then one on the back right here. Kind of like the little support for that. And we're gonna run out the center of this right here, 3 blocks, and then we're gonna switch back to the iron, and we're gonna trace this, step it in again, and we're gonna trace it one more time, but this time on the top and bottom it'll be flattened, and you'll see what I'm talking about when I get around to the back edge. Or sorry, when I'm finished and I get back to the bottom. Because what ends up happening is it's touching the Falcon. So I want to leave a gap there so that you can tell it's, you know, a satellite dish and not some, you know, weird piece of junk just sitting on there. So we're gonna go ahead and trace this all the way around with buttons. But like I said, that top and that bottom center blocks that are hanging up, I'm gonna get rid of them, and I'm gonna squash it so that it's a little bit more of a rectangular shape. So that's the Millennium Falcon. You guys have been asking for it. It's a Merry Christmas present from me to my fans. Thank you all so much for map downloads. Be sure to check out spanklevision.com. And this is Rannalt asking you, what do you want to build today?